Hello, friends, and welcome back to Sunshine Strategies Radio, where we help families and communities stay informed, engaged, and empowered. This season, we are trying something a little bit differently, and we are going to bring you some special interview series focused on the candidates running in this year's primary. And since this is all time dependent and whether or not we can get candidates in and out, we're going to start in Illinois' 15th Congressional District. Now, elections shape the future of our schools, our economy, our healthcare, farms, and neighborhoods. And informed voters build stronger communities. Our goal today is simple: to create space for thoughtful, respectful conversations so that you can hear directly from the people asking for your vote. Each candidate was brought onto the episode and asked a few questions like, why did you decide to jump in the race? And we talk a little bit about how they plan to serve the people of Central and Southern Illinois. Here at Sunshine Strategies, we believe in democracy and that it works best when citizens have access to clear information and diverse perspectives. So, whether you're a lifelong voter or preparing to cast your ballot for the very first time, this series was designed to help you better understand the choices before you in the Illinois Congressional District 15. And now let's get to our next candidate. And here's our last interview for the Illinois 15th Congressional District. I am so happy to welcome Randy Raley. I'm glad that you made time to talk with me. As I have talked to the other candidates and told them, I'm starting late. The early voting has started, but we're encouraging everyone to get out and meet their candidates. So we're starting in the Illinois 15th. And Randy, tell me a little bit about you and why you decided to get into this race.
At International Harvester, and
Oh, wow.
he went to work every job over and over again and, provided for us. He paid the mortgage off 10 years early. We never went to Hawaii or anything like that, but we always had what we needed. My
Yep.
mom was a waitress, one of the best waitresses ever. And I remember being a young boy, she would come home and it was, being that age, it was a joy to count the change, it was a
Yep.
game and all that. And she'd come back with, 20, 25 bucks a day. And back then that was a nice living. So, definitely very much middle class. When I was 10 years old, I moved to a farm in southern Missouri, and it was a working 159-acre farm.
Oh, wow.
So we had cows and pigs and chickens and horses and mules and sheep and all of that. And we also grew corn and beans and tomatoes and potatoes. And we were we made our own butter and our own cream and all of that kind of stuff. And so we could have been self-sufficient if we wanted to be, but we sold our milk to the milkman, and so that made us a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And then when I was 15, I moved back to East Moline. So I went from a class of 65 lily white kids in southern Missouri to a class of 800 in East Moline.
Smolene.
And 30% of those kids didn't look like me. So it was an interesting experiment in getting along.
It was almost like college for you, like you
Yeah,
get introduced to this whole new culture.
I was also advertising director for three rural newspapers in Missouri, so I know how to negotiate. And how I started running. Why did I get into this? Well, I woke up on January 20th, and I am on Social Security and I am on Medicare. And I looked around at what I thought was going to happen to my country, which has turned out to happen. Superman didn't show up and Captain America didn't show up, and we flashed the bat signal and Batman didn't show up. And so my girlfriend said to me, she said, well, how about you?
Yep.
And so I made a phone call, and the next thing you know, here I am.
There's a lot of us that find ourselves in boats that we didn't quite plan on just because of that. Before we started recording, in fact, we were talking about that. So,
He got them all. But the thing of it is that compared to his service, if I could somehow get elected to serve my country, I'd be able to bridge that gap. You know what I mean? I'd
yep.
be able to feel like I fulfilled somewhat of his legacy. So
Yep.
there's a number of reasons why I got into it. I'm also not a real big fan of the person who currently represents the district.
Yes. Mary Miller is my representative, and I can assure you that anything is better than Mary Miller, including a sick chicken at this point. So I'm so glad that we have great options.
I can do my campaign speech in 10 seconds, and it goes like this. I'm against everything she's for, and I'm for everything she's against. And that's kind of the way it is. She has stood by and watched the 15th district absolutely self-destruct
Yep.
with her anti-farmer policies. I've been talking to a lot of farmers. Being a Democrat, to go into the farm bureaus of rural Illinois, sometimes you think that you're stepping into the den of the enemy. But the
It's
first
really
question
not.
I ask, no, it's not. And if you find some kind of common ground, and I always start with the question, when was the last time a politician asked your opinion about anything?
Yep.
And then I say, here I am. And that usually gets us a little common ground.
Yep.
Now, the thing that I'm getting from the farmers, the thing that's keeping them down is big ag and their lack of choices on what to do with their product. Now, you've got, four basic companies that does 80% of the meat packing in America. There are four basic grain processing plant, people in America. You got three or four places to get your seeds due to all of these mergers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what farmers are telling me that are keeping them down is that they don't have any place. There's no competition.
Yep.
And these companies give them historically low prices for their goods, and then they turn around and sell them at an exorbitant profit.
Yep.
But the thing that I'm trying to get through to the farmers is that, okay, big ag is keeping you down. Well, guess who's taking money from big ag?
Yep.
The person that's supposed to be representing you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we find our common ground right there. And then they
Yep.
start listening. And, we talk about, basically, Mary Miller doesn't, with everything that the farmers have been through in the past 6 months, we have not heard one word from her about anything. And it's just, it's a crime to me that a person who gives not one whit about her district is, the favorite to win
To win.
again.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this. I'm out trying to build some coalitions. I talk to farmers, talk to union people. I'm talking to educators. I'm talking to mayors of small towns. I'm talking to chambers of commerce. I'm talking to nurses and teachers and, guys out bagging groceries. I'm
Yep.
trying to talk to everybody and see if we can find some kind of common ground and get her out.
Nope. I love it. And that's the thing that, for the longest time, you talk about Republicans and Democrats. I mean, they may have mentioned this on another interview for this race, but you get that comment of, I don't want big government. And what I have found over the years when I talk to people in the smaller communities, like in Illinois 15, it's not so much they don't want big government, it's they don't want distant government. government that doesn't
Yeah.
understand their situation. And like Mary Miller understands that there's a problem, but she is so far away from the problem that she has no idea what the correct solution is. And I think that
Well,
just that one honest statement, if we could convince people of that, I think that it would do a lot of good across the state of Illinois.
Well, here's one thing also too. In the district next to ours, in the 13th, Nikki Budzinski has
Mhm.
brought into her district over $150 million for projects and good union jobs and taking care of the infrastructure of her district. Well, in the past 5 years, Mary Miller has returned nothing,
Nothing.
not a dime. And so when you drive around the district, well, guess what happens if you don't maintain something? It breaks down, and
It does.
that's what's going on. In the town of Palmer, they need a new tornado siren. In Wharton, the same thing. We've got a water tower falling down here. We've got a treatment plant that's breaking down. We need new buildings here. We need new buildings there. And the thing that people maybe don't understand, why your property taxes go up. Well, if you had the federal dollars to fix the stuff that breaks down, you don't have to pay for it locally.
Yep.
And that's a lot of, I think people don't understand. But the thing of it is that not bringing any money into the district not only affects the Democrats, it affects the Republicans too.
It
And
does.
so nobody gets in the money. So what we've been doing was we've been sending our federal money to Washington and getting no return. Do you know what they call that? They call that taxation without representation, is what they call that.
Yep.
And that's got to stop. It has to stop.
It does.
Your district is breaking down. It really is. So that's another thing about her that
Yep.
has got me in the race.
We were talking about the list of grievances the other day. Afraid if we dive into that one, we'll be here forever.
I got a score to settle with you people.
Randy, it has been a pleasure. If anyone wants to learn more about you, what's the easiest way to learn more about your race and what's coming up for you guys in between here and the election?
Select Raley, ELEC website too.
Okay.
Here's the thing that's different about my website than the other candidates' website. I have policy on there. I have platform. I have solutions. Here's what I'm going to do, and it's all stated out in the website. It's all stated out on the Facebook page. We probably put 4 or 5 things up on the Facebook page every day, and
Oh, great.
we just want to try to stay connected as much as we can.
Well, wonderful. Well, Randy, I am going to let you get back to what you're doing best right now, and that's talking with the voters. But it has been a pleasure, and we look forward to hearing more from you in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored and very pleased to be on your show, and I always appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Randy.